Welcome to Leadership and Inner Clarity, Navigating Pressure, Presence and Performance, our podcast series where we explore the mental, emotional and psychological dynamics behind modern leadership and how to reconnect with yourself while leading effectively. I'm Falco Wiskirchen, leadership coach and naturopath for psychotherapy with over 12 years of experience supporting leaders in their professional and personal challenges. Today's topic is emotional suppression in leadership. Why staying strong creates inner distance. There's a certain sentence I hear again and again from executives and managers. It sounds simple, almost reasonable. I can't afford to feel that right now. And usually what they mean is, I'll deal with this later. If you're in a leadership role, you've probably learned very early that emotions can feel like a liability. Meetings don't pause for uncertainty. Decisions don't wait for grief, frustration, or doubt. And people look to you to be steady, reliable, and strong. So you do what many capable leaders do. You suppress what you feel in order to function. And at first this works. You stay composed, you perform, you lead. But over time something subtle begins to happen. Not loudly, not dramatically. Quietly, you feel a growing inner distance from yourself, from others, from the work that once felt meaningful. And today I want to explore why that happens. Because emotional suppression is not the same as emotional strength. And staying strong often comes with a hidden cost that shows up in your body, your relationships, and your leadership presence. So as you listen, I invite you to slow down just a little. You do not need to fix anything. Just notice what resonates. Let's begin. In leadership environments, emotions are often treated as something private, something unprofessional, something to manage quietly on your own. Especially emotions like fear, sadness, disappointment, or vulnerability. Anger might be tolerated, even rewarded, but softer emotions, those are often pushed aside. Many leaders learn to suppress emotions, not because they want to, but because it feels necessary. Necessary to stay focused. Necessary to protect others. Necessary to keep things moving. From a psychological perspective, emotional suppression is a survival strategy. It's your nervous system saying, now is not the time. The problem is not that this strategy exists. The problem is when it becomes permanent. Because emotions that are suppressed don't disappear. They do not dissolve. They don't resolve themselves. They move. They move into the body, into chronic tension, into shallow breathing, into headaches, stomach issues, fatigue or sleep problems. They move into behavior, into impatience, into emotional distance, into a sense of irritation that doesn't quite have a clear course. And they move into leadership presence, often in ways that others feel before you do. One of the most common things leaders tell me is, I don't feel stressed emotionally, I just feel tired. And that's often not exhaustion from workload alone, it's exhaustion from holding everything in. Emotional suppression requires constant energy. Your nervous system stays slightly activated all the time, monitoring, containing, controlling. On the outside, you may appear calm and composed, On the inside, your system never fully rests. Let's pause here for a moment. As you are listening right now, notice your breathing. Not to change it, just to observe it. Is it deep or shallow, relaxed or held? This is often where emotional suppression first shows up. In the breath. Another area where suppression becomes visible is leadership presence. Leaders who suppress emotions often describe feeling less connected to their teams over time, not because they don't care, but because emotional connection requires emotional availability. When emotions are consistently pushed down, presence becomes more cognitive than relational. You're there mentally, you're decisive, you're competent, but something in the room feels muted. Teams may experience this as distance, not hostility, not coldness, just a lack of resonance. And this can be deeply confusing for leaders who value respect, trust, and loyalty. From a nervous system perspective, humans are wired to sense emotional states in others. We don't just respond to words. We respond to tone, micro-expressions, posture, and energy. When emotions are suppressed, the body sends mixed signals. Your words say one thing, your nervous system says another. Over time, this can subtly affect trust and empathy on both sides. Another place emotional suppression shows up is at home. Many leaders hold it together all day, only to feel emotionally unavailable with their partner or family in the evening. Not because they don't want closeness, but because there's nothing left. When emotions are constantly contained, intimacy begins to feel demanding instead of nourishing. Conversations become shorter, presence becomes thinner, and often leaders blame time pressure or workload, when in reality it's emotional depletion. This is not a personal failure, it is a predictable pattern. Emotional suppression is not emotional regulation. Regulation means you can feel something without being overwhelmed by it. Suppression means you don't allow yourself to feel it at all. True emotional strength doesn't come from shutting down feelings. It comes from the capacity to stay present with them. This doesn't mean emotional outbursts. It doesn't mean oversharing. It doesn't mean losing authority. It means internal honesty, the ability to notice internally something in me is tense right now, or I feel disappointed, or there's fear here, without judgment, without immediately needing to act, just awareness. This inner orientation is one of the most stabilizing capacities a leader can develop. When emotions are acknowledged internally, the nervous system can complete its stress cycles. Tension can release, clarity returns. Leadership presence becomes quieter but stronger, less forced, more grounded. Let's pause for a moment. If you check in with yourself right now, is there an emotion you've been pushing aside lately? You don't need to name it precisely, just notice if there's something there. You don't have to resolve it today. Awareness alone already changes the nervous system. In my work with executives, one of the most powerful shifts happens when leaders realize they don't have to choose between strength and emotional awareness. You can be clear and emotionally present, decisive and internally honest, strong and human. In fact, leadership becomes more sustainable when emotions are integrated rather than suppressed, not because you do more, but because you carry less. And this is often where deeper work becomes valuable. Not performance coaching, not strategy, but a space where you don't have to function, where you can slow down, reflect, and reconnect with yourself without judgment. If emotional suppression is costing you energy, clarity, or connection, you don't have to navigate that alone. I invite you to book a free initial consultation through my website, a quiet, confidential conversation where we can explore what's happening beneath the surface and what kind of support would be meaningful for you. No pressure, no obligation, just a space to pause, reflect, and regain inner clarity. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. And certainly you can find more valuable insights in my other podcasts. Feel free to check them out. Please remember, be good to yourself and take care. You are important. See you soon. And of course, I would be delighted if you like to support my work by subscribing, liking and sharing, so that my podcasts reach all the people I would like to help. Thank you.